Hello everyone. This is my first time back at the bench really since the end of the Big Spring contest. It's been a month. I need to clean it up a bit in here. No doubt of that. And kind of not being 100% true. Brocuri Cruiser sitting over here and I've been working on it a little bit on and off. Been taking decals off because the decals didn't go on it too well. Most of them did. One or two of them didn't, so I'm pulling the decals and I'm going to replace them. That's not what I'm here for today. CT Speed Shop. See? CT Speed Shop, this guy. He sent me this. This is what we're here for today. I know the lighting's really bad right now because I got a bright light source behind me, and that's a major no-no when you're doing video. That's why I'm so close on the camera. It alleviates that. I'm about to move the camera and reposition it. We're going to build this today. We're going to open the package up, see what it looks like. Before he sent me that, I had actually picked up these two. The Millennium Falcon and Darth Vader's tie. But since this one was a gift, I'm going to build it first. And I'm going to let everyone see what it's like. A couple of people told me that they're good kits. This one's probably going to be more complicated than the other two. I've done a lot of work with photo etch lately. So photo etch doesn't scare me. So let's open up the package and see what it's like. Let me reposition the camera first. Okay? To where we are viewing my work surface. Alright everyone. Let's open this up. It says take some scissors, cut it across here. I'm not prepared today. Oh, there's the scissors. I do have scissors in here. I don't use them very often because you're not going to go cutting up stuff with these. When you're working on models, it doesn't work well with plastic card. We have a direction page. The directions what worried me the most on this, but it looks like the directions are pretty good. And we've got a little key up here on what to do, and I'll show that up in a little bit. The legs are going to be somewhat two-dimensional. I'm happy to see that. And it looks like the legs are 80% of the construction on this. The feet, yeah, I was afraid the feet were going to be like that. The feet are going to be a challenge as well because they're going to have to be bent into a circle. And it doesn't really tell you how to do much of this. So let me put this up where you guys can see the key on the directions up here. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to pull the parts themselves out. I'm going to set the directions over here where I can see them. Now it comes on 2 sheets. So you can see it's not, each one of these squares right here is 1 inch. You can see it's not going to be incredibly large when it's done. It's just not going to be. Okay? But that's not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is to sit down and have some fun. I'm going to read over the directions and see what they say real fast, because it tells me I don't need much in the way of tools. And, well, that may be true. It says to create the best connections, insert tab, bend 90 degrees for most visible areas, insert tab and twist 90 degrees. Is best in some areas, ensure a tight connection. Needle nose pliers are helpful for assembly. It doesn't give you any tips or hints on how to work this. Note, in order to avoid possible injury from sharp edges, please carefully discard the metal sheets and other parts have to be removed. Product is not a toy. Keep out of reach of children. Yeah, so it is highly recommended that you visit, and it gives a website to see the complete model before assembling your own. Alright there, so it doesn't give any tips, hints, nothing. You are on your own with this. You're bending all the photo etch on your own. Now, I think it's going to bend okay because it looks like it's perforated along a lot of the fold lines. It's just the feet and stuff have to be bent in a circle and, well, they're ribbed. We're going to see. Okay. Now, it looks like you build the head first. Yeah, assembly flow chart. It looks like you build the head first. The parts are numbered in the assembly order. So that is good to know, that you start with part number 1, you start with part number 2, you start with part number 3. Okay? So part number 1 here. Now I got to cut these out because I don't think they just punch out. And you do have a map where the part numbers are. So if I get this orientated the same way as our part numbers, and they got a nice finish on these parts. Is this the same way? There we go. I've got this one laid out the same way. This one's not too hard to figure out. There we go. Now, before I start pulling off on here, I'm sure you guys would like to see, oh, the speed of the zoom. That's full on zoom right there. Let me do this. Let me pull apart and put it up near the camera. Now, being shiny, the camera may not want to focus on it. Yeah, it's focusing. You can see that it's got a nice metal finish. There's some nice detail etched into these parts. So if you do this well, it's going to look really nice. Here's the other one. The camera's focusing on the reflection of the camera itself, not the parts. Here's the other one. Okay? Now it says start with part number 1. Part number 1 is this part right here. Now looking at the metal fret, I don't even see how these parts are connected. Let me put it up to the light. Oh, they're in there somehow. But it looks almost as if they are... Oh, I see them. I see the connection point. There's 2 very tiny connection points here. I'm going to zoom it a little bit more, but I got to reach up to the camera to zoom more. There we go. I found the connection points. They are very tiny. Now remember, when you're cutting photo etch, you want a hard surface to cut on. You do not want to cut on a soft surface. I use a piece of floor sampling. And not all floor sample pieces are the same, so careful. The connection points are little triangles like this one and this one. It has very few connection points. Okay? Which is a good thing, and it's going to make this really easy to cut free of the fret. And I'm not going to put this whole thing together on camera, because one thing, I'm going to cut it on the non-pretty side. I want to get a new blade. This blade is the one I use for all the TIE Fighter cuttings. So this blade is pretty dead. And this is not brass. This is steel, it feels like. Okay, part is cut free. I'm going to get my flat nose pliers. I'm going to sand it like I did the other time. I'm going to fold it. I do have the bender still, so I may be using the bender. Here is needle nose pliers. I'm looking for the flat nose pliers that I use with photo etch work all the time. They're here. I need to clean this room up a little bit better than it is. There they are. They've been hiding. Here's the flat nose pliers. There's no teeth on the inside of them. They're just flat. And I don't need anything real heavy duty to sand. I'm just going to use one of these sanding sticks. Okay? So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to sand it. Now, again, everyone, you've seen me do this before. I'm just aligning the part with the edge. I don't want to grab it too hard since it's got such a nice mirror finish on it. And just lightly sand that fret piece off. And I want to cut this where it is not, yeah, it's pretty. feel that nub in there. Anyhow, everyone, I'm not going to sit here and keep the video rolling while I work on this, because that can get boring unless I start ranting about stuff. I do have some more rant videos lined up. I just need, one of them's going to require a script. Yeah, you heard that right. One of them's going to be an all-day process just making the video. I have some ideas and I want to try some stuff. Okay, well, I cut that one a little wrong. Probably going to show on the final product. I got my part cut out and it shows to fold it. I'm going to try some folding without... Oh yeah, you don't need a folder for these. Okay, it just bends. They're perforated pretty well, so it bends on the perforations with little or no trouble. So have little fear about bending these parts. Okay, little or no fear about bending these parts. It just bends right along the perforations. So, do you need a photo etch bender? Nah. Would it be good to have some good tweezers when you do this? Yes. Photo etch bender? No. Well, part number 1 is bent into shape. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get part number 3 out. And we're going to put it together, and then I'll quit recording because the assembly is using tabs. And I want to show you guys that. Now number 3 is going to be on the sheet I just set aside. Yes, it is. Go figure. Part number 3 is a big part. It's this part here. Okay. And again, I'm going to turn the piece over. This blade is really bad. I should get a new blade before I do too much more. I'm having to press way too hard on this because the blade is bad. I can tell that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a new blade. This blade just is not cutting this. Hang on a second. See, part of the problem is if you don't cut it right, you're bending the part. Wow, this stuff is definitely not brass, and it's tough to cut it. It's definitely not brass. There's this part. Okay. Now, one thing about this, almost all the edges are where they will not be seen, where they connect. I'm not going to try it with the sanding sticks anymore. Sanding sticks work great on brass. This is not brass. This is steel. Or it's definitely, well, it's some sort of iron compound. Let's just leave it at that. So I'm not going to try to be nice with it anymore. So I got some, got the file out, in other words. It definitely works better. Now, folding this one, again, they did a good job on the fold lines. Because it wants to bend on these lines, very much so. Yeah, you guys can see it. It's just bending. It's not even giving me any trouble about bending. Little or no trouble. There's the head of the AT-AT. Okay, the part I just cut goes on the front of it. There are tab holes for it. And you line the tab holes and put it in. There are 4 tab holes. Yeah, I get the feeling these tab holes are going to be the challenge here, not anything else. Cutting it and cleaning it is a challenge too, because oh boy, the stuff don't want to cut. My traditional X-Acto knife cutting of photo etch is being challenged a bit. I'm also going to have to bend these tabs a little bit, and hence I'm not using those to bend with. They're too stiff. Those tabs are not very strong. That's too stiff. I'm getting a pair of tweezers to bend with because, yeah, that's happier. That is a much happier thing to do. I may have that upside down. That might be why it can't go on right. Let's try turning it. You never know. Sometimes you do things upside down, and all of a sudden it goes on when you turn it over. No, I had it the right way to begin with. And that's what they mean by, if you go here, you'll get a 360-degree view of your model, so you can see the orientation of things. All right, you can see this is fiddly. I'd rather be gluing plastic together. I have less fiddly problems than Three out of 4 tabs are aligned. Try turning it over. Maybe I do have it upside down. You know? Yeah, there's no way that was upside down. Anyhow, you guys, this is the part I was afraid was going to be fun. And it is being fun because, aha, I found the culprit. I was trying to put it in the wrong tab hole. Okay, there are 2 different tab holes in the front. I was trying to put it in the wrong one. So that's in part what has taken me so long to get this done. All right. This little guy it's not bad. It's just very different in a plastic model. So if you expect plastic model going togetherness, you're going to be disappointed. Okay? Keep that in mind. It is not a plastic model. I'm trying to force fit things. It doesn't work. Plus on camera, I'm aware that it's eating up a lot of time. So this is raising my frustration level a little bit, if you guys understand what's going on. So I feel like I should shut the camera down Alright, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shut the camera off. Now, once the camera's off, I'll come right back in a second and show you what happened. It's probably going to take me literally a minute to put it together when I'm not on camera.